If that thing says something like, it's dangerous to go alone, I will kill him.
Welcome to this, my humble room. My name is Velez. It is a pleasure for me to meet such distinguished guests. A monster without fate, and a young lady who has lost everything. Calm down, you have nothing to fear. I'm not an enemy. Though I suppose I would not consider myself an ally either. I am neither a memory nor a guest of the tower. You could say I'm a simple intermediary.
He speaks the truth, baby. I feel no hostility from him.
I know, but I can't help being uneasy. There's something strangely familiar about him. Velez was your name, right? Excuse me if I was rude. The truth is that it's been a difficult day.
Do not worry, my dear. Under the circumstances, it's logical that you are confused. You're not the only one here who feels this way. If you mean the tower, it has many names, but I think that it would be appropriate to call it Arcane. A place where the real world and the dream are part of the same side of the coin. The chamber, as I told you before, is Labyrinthos, my humble home. Me? I'm just a mere intermediary between guests and the... I am not allowed to interfere. That is what the rules of the existence dictate. I won't help you, nor will I stand in your way. If you are here, you were chosen. You, a monster without fate, and the one who has lost everything, you can choose. Choose what? Your eyes ask, even when your lips have not yet moved. Everything. There are no limits. Such is my task. You can obtain everything or nothing, as long as you exchange it for something of equal value. Of course. They, the same as you, are moving too. Many of them are also invited to Labyrinthos. Or at least, those who are real. But excuse me, I may have already said too much, and I shouldn't. I couldn't say. There are rules, and my limits are inside this room. I can only say that this is an old story that is about to end. A tale that is just waiting for all the actors in the play to be placed where they belong. If what you seek is something material, I have for you a long list of artifacts that perhaps you may find interesting. In return, unless you have something more interesting, I'll be happy to use as currency the fragments of existence of those that you have destroyed.
Ergo, what are you? I mean, Nathaniel has studied you for centuries, but none were able to discover too much about your origins.
Yes? And what did they say?
There were all kinds of theories. Some said that you were a malevolent manifestation of thousands of evil souls. Others theorized that you were a higher demon from another plane of existence. And
what do you think?
I think that maybe you don't know what you are. That sometimes you're simply lost.
I am ergo mundus, little girl. No more, no less.
You really wanted to destroy the world?
Make no mistake, little baby. I never tried to destroy it. That's a stupid misconception that you people have about me. I've said it over and over again. My only intention was to sit on the Imperial throne.
But why?
Because I was told that it was impossible. It was a matter of principle. I would look bad if I merely let it pass, don't you think? Also, I was so bored at the time. I am power, babe. Absolute and unstoppable. Don't forget it.
And what about all the people who died in the uprising against you? All the innocents that you killed?
I have never killed anyone who didn't fight me. I am a monster, babe, not a murderer. Maybe the ones who decided to follow me did, not me.
But they were your followers after all.
I never asked them anything. They simply decided to tag along with me, as if I was some kind of savior for those who lurk in the shadows. Can you really blame them? For centuries they were hunted and destroyed. Even then, that was stupid. If they wanted to destroy mankind, they should have simply waited in the dark till humans couldn't find any other enemies than themselves.
What do you mean?
Look at the world. Can't you feel it? The ultimate war is coming. The Empire has fallen, and many want to take the throne. Millions will die.
I think that sometimes we may be lost. We can hate and destroy, but we can also find our way. There is hope for us, Ergo. If you see the darkness, it's because there's light.
Sometimes I think that you really are too nice for this job. That, or you're simply an idiot.
Why did you take my name away?
I did not. I mean, not because I wanted to. It is something that happens with all the people who sign a pact with me. My essence consumes something from you to link yourself with my power. It takes away a part of your existence. Other people forgot your name because, well, it's like that part of you never existed to begin with.
And you? Do you know it? My name?
Oh, maybe.
Could you tell me what it is?
No.
How did you end up sealed in that book? I mean, I've heard the whole story more than once, but I always wanted to hear it directly from you.
Oh, come on. For real? What do you want to know that? It's an old story.
I won't force you, but I am really curious.
Centuries ago, soon after I appeared in the world, I fought against the Empire due to a little misunderstanding. When I was about to win, my body, my real form, was temporally shattered in a fight against the greatest agents of Nathaniel, the Empire, and the Church led by Elenii Grimoire. But it was pretty obvious for them that I couldn't be really destroyed. Ellie understood that it was just a matter of time until I would reform myself in a new body, and created a countermeasure against me. She put a part of me inside of this book, an ancient artifact full of seals made of her own blood, and tricked my spirit to go there. I was pretty confused in that moment, so I really fell for it. When I understood what was happening, my soul was already fused with this vessel, and her seals limited my power. And voila! I had become a book. Fun.
Thanks for telling me. Why do you work with Nathaniel? I mean, we are the ones who sealed you.
Well, when I became a book, my movement and powers were quite restricted. Nathaniel could not destroy me. Even in this form, they never found a way to finish me for real. Especially because no one knows if I could simply reclaim my old body again. So, they decided to lock me down. During that time, the only one who visited me was Ellie, which made my confinement bearable. One day, when I was really bored, she came to me with a proposal. If I agreed to loan my powers to Nathaniel, I would be able to go back to the world, helping the organization to destroy things that could be a menace for everyone. That manipulative woman. I couldn't say no to her. You know very well the rest of the story. A catalyst was needed to use my powers, a human medium that could supervise my actions. For that reason, the first bearer of calamities was born, someone that would be able to use me, bonding with my essence. At least, that way I would be able to loosen up from time to time. But honestly, all the previous bearers were a bunch of assholes.
Bearer of calamities, I felt your presence.
Lord Romeo?
Exet? Are you kidding, babe? The damn Supreme Inquisitor here?
Shut up!
I am outside the building. Our forces, our armies, Nathaniel, the Inquisition, they are all here. I used all my power to create this gap that allows us to communicate, but it is unstable. We must be brief.
My lord, lady, she's dead. And the artifact is still missing. But it's just a matter of time before I...
Silence. What is happening is much more serious than you think. Far more than any of us ever thought. Just one person predicted it. And now we're too late. The whole world is in chaos. Many of the rules of reality are breaking. And this place is the source of everything.
I'm sorry, my lord. I don't understand.
The book you had to recover, the Biblos, was a collection of prophecies made by Harel Grimoire. They described certain conditions that would cause the end of the world. The object itself was unimportant. What mattered was the content. According to her omens, when a certain number of unique entities were reunited, they would bring about the end of all existence. For centuries, we have called these creatures the Messengers of the End, a suitable name for those who are considered the harbingers of the world's destruction. However, we never exactly understood all the intricacies of the prophecy, nor were able to locate all of the messengers. Until now.
My lord?
They are coming, bearer of calamities. Many are already here. This place is attracting the messengers to its core. We don't know how or why, but these creatures are meeting here for the first time. But we cannot enter. The tower is not in the same reality I am, where any of us are. Before me, there are only ruins and desolation. But you You are already inside, which only means one thing. You are the last resort we have. You are my weapon, the darkness that devours darkness, my instrument of destruction. Find them, annihilate them, all of them, or the world will not see many more sunrises. We will try to stop them here before they arrive, but many will enter through the crevices between realities. Now go, Hunter of Shadows. You have much to do.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, shithead Romeo?
Nascal entered the hall where the Council of Brax was taking place. The greatest artists and creators of the world met once every decade under those walls. Different civilizations, even non-human creatures were there to show the wonders they had created over the years. Naturally, only the very best could attend, those whose fame had crossed all frontiers. For many of them, just having been invited represented an honor, but to Nascal, it was quite the opposite. They should feel honored by his attendance. The puppet master walked through the room, trying to pass unnoticed. He paid little attention to several uninspired works that only reminded him of why he was superior to everyone else. Nascal smiled ruefully. Although he did not expect too much from others, he had wished to find something to at least rival with his talent. Lost in those thoughts, a distant word caught his attention. Someone had mentioned Gaudeamus, the creator of wonders, whose fame had reached even Nascal's ears. Apparently, he had also been invited, and a group of people were talking to him not too far away. Interested by his fame, Nascal approached him to share some anecdotes with a fellow genius. To his surprise, the legendary creator was much younger than he had expected, and was quick to shake his hand and exchange a polite greeting. Nascal was about to ask about the works he was exhibiting in the council, when the whole room became silent. Everyone whispered that Gaudeamus had just arrived. At that moment, the confused Nascal understood what they meant, and a chill of terror ran through his spine. The person he was talking with was not a living being, but a doll. Work of Gaudeamus was what he had heard the people say before. Even if it was only for a moment, the mere idea that he had not noticed such a thing overwhelmed the mind of the puppet master. Frantically, his eyes began to gaze closely at all the works exhibited by Gaudeamus. The mere sight of them burned his retinas, but at the same time, he was unable to look away. The feeling of anxiety that oppressed his chest grew until it became pain. He even had trouble breathing in the same room that stored such wonders. Unable The entity linked to this place is a psycho. This formula, it Nascal suddenly awoke. For months, he had been unable to sleep well, and that night had been particularly bad, something which he blamed on the emotion of being so close to finishing his work. Washing his face, he noticed how terrible he looked in the mirror, and thought that very soon he would have to be ready to return to society. Nascal was unsure of how much time had passed since he had visited the Council of Brax. After that night, he invested his vast fortune in creating a secluded mansion away from the civilized world. A huge and well-equipped workshop in which he could devote body and soul to his work, free from distractions. It had been years, or maybe even decades, since the last time he had contact with another human being. But loneliness meant little to him. All that mattered was that he was close to reaching his goal. Over the years, just improving his creative talent wasn't enough for Nascal. His goal was much higher. He devoted day after day to research the same process Gaudeamus developed to make his works, becoming an unrivaled expert in lost science and supernatural rituals. With such unusual tools, he managed to create countless animated puppets, which were able to move by themselves, the very ones that now protected his mansion and took care of its maintenance. But they were all just prototypes for his definitive work, the ultimate puppet. An artificial being so perfect, it would not be aware that it was not alive. Nascal solemnly went down to the heart of his workshop, where his most valued masterpiece waited for him. On the table was a body. Any observer would think without a doubt that it was a true human being. It had the same appearance as its creator, as identical as 2 drops of water. The master puppeteer smiled. In his next encounter with Gaudeamus, it would be his marionette that greeted him. An ironic joke that only he would be able to understand. After reviewing the status of the project for hours, Nascal determined that it was only a matter of days until it was finished. Only a few pieces were missing, which should be stored in his secondary workshop. With unusual anxiety, he walked to the north wing in search of them. It had been a long time since he had visited that area of the mansion, and he was not even